They just forget about that. So they become indifferent to that.
그 주인은 종교를 추방할 것이고 그 주인은 가정을 추방할 것이고 국가를 추방할 것이고 자기 옛날에 개인주의화해 가지고 자기 인간 가치까지 추방할 수 있는 단계로 나갈 것이다.
So if they do not see this the clear the thing, then so-called pragmatism will be same as materialism, and they will really act in the later time, act even to chase God out of the country, to chase religion of the country, and reduce down to sell out the country, to even deny their parents so-called pragmatism. When they become like a materialism, then they will just even themselves they will deny.
내가 실용주의 내가 무슨 쓸데없이 무료할 때 나만 하면 다 가져 이제 앞으로 광림에서 참 처단해버리지.
You see, it's so clear because they are so pragmatic that the men, when they get old, just like an old automobile, they want to throw themselves away. They feel no value in them because they see new automobile, then they have a use for it, pragmatic. But they regard themselves as an old machine. What do you do, old machine? Just put it in a junkyard. They feel that.
세계 손을 대가지고 다 왔다 갔다 전부 다 도와준 거죠. 전부 다 빼앗아. 저쪽에 갔다는 왜 미국을 싫어하냐? 도와준다고 참 빼앗아.
And then why do the people dislike America? Because they will go to one country and they say, I will help you. So they have aid and they help and assistance, and then they go there. And then they're not so much help, but they take the things away and go back.
그래서?
Do you understand?
그러니까 싫어하는 거야. 왜 미국을 왜 싫어하는 거야?
So the people there who experience that don't like America.
미국은 이제 망하게 됐다. 젊은 사람들 전부 다 에펜 줘야 되고 전부 다 약을 먹어가지고 병신 다 됐다. 그럼 망하고 있다고.
And there are so many signs.
건강해 보이지만은 속에 딱 들었다. 지금 뭐야? 암병이 걸렸다. 암병이 걸렸다.
They look rather healthy from outside, but inside every sign of deterioration. There's no concern, and it's like a cancer. The man, he looks very healthy from outside, but inside it just is absolutely the hopeless, like the drugs and the complete lack of a will to improve themselves, and they just don't know what will happen to them next day or next month.
아프기 시작한 날에는 죽을 날이 멀지 않다고 한다고.
You see, the sickness does not need to go on 10 years before a man die. If one perfectly healthy man gets sick, and they can die in 1 month.
그 캔서가 그렇다.
In cancer, less than 1 year, even couple of years.
아프기 시작하는 날에는 뭐 죽을 날이 가깝단 말이야 한다고.
Like when they started feeling pain, then they don't live more than 2 months. That's the cancer.
이제는 미국이 아프기 시작해. 아프기 시작해.
So America so far has never felt the pain, although all kind of indications say they are sick. But then, what if they started feeling pain?
그래서 세계 제일 위험한 것은 미국이야.
So the most dangerous place in the world is America now, and all the lawless country is in America. Strangely enough, every unconceivable the uncivilized thing take place in America, like broad daylight they loot, the daylight they kill people, in the broad daylight they rape, and all these things happens in America. Not so much in other countries, but more in America this happens.
널 그런 거 알아?
Now, do we realize that?
다 망하고 있다.
So we see the sign of perishment everywhere, sign of deterioration everywhere.
그 대신 지금 뭐냐면 미국 청년이나 모든 지금 뭐 세계 젊은 사람들이나 세계 사람들은 공산주의가 좋다.
But then the people, even in America, they say maybe the communism is good. They blurt out like that.
그 왜 좋을까?
Then Why? Why would it be good?
자, 민주세계는 세계주의 거치면서 전부 다 개국주의로 떨어져나간 거예요.
Well, the democracy, so-called democracy, looks like it's a worldwide thing, but then if you really look closely into it, analyze it, it is not the worldism, but it is more and more hermit. It is more and more the narrowed down to the individual. It's not so much of a world, but it's more the limited sense it is.
자, 그런 경향에서 공산주의 나와가지고 공산주의는 세계주의 같고 전 세계가 뭐 노동자용 다 하나 같은데 이것도 결국은 가다 보니까 또 그렇게 됐다.
Whereas the communism is looked very much international and very much that of the world, in the world level, because the communist ideal is seems to be heading towards the world. But if you really carefully take a look at the communism deeply, then even the communism is no exception. They eventually come down to the local way, come down to the limited way.
자, 중국하고 소련하고 그 갈라질 거야? 공산주의 세계에서 갈라질 수 있어?
As a matter of principle, within the communistic world, can Russians and can Chinese they separate each other? Can they?
그 사상적으로 갈라질 수 없는 게 갈라지고 있다고.
They cannot, according to ideology.
너도 영국 사람들 라디오 방송 들어보면 말이야. 베트남에서는 말이지. 중국 사람 16만이나 추방했다는 거 라디오 방송 들었어?
But that's the reality. That's what's happening. This the great so-called the big communist country. There's a rift and they separate from one from each other, another. And yesterday, the BBC had a great reporting. They in Vietnam, the Viet Cong Vietnam, the communist Vietnam, the hundreds of thousands of Chinese are expelled. In fact, 160,000, and all that, a huge mass is chased out of there, is expatriated from Vietnam, the communist country, right back to the Chinese. Some of them lived there for 4 generations.
공산당 중국하고 모시고 전부 다 이 아프리카 우리가 하나 되는데 아프리카보다 더 가까운 중국 아시아 사람들이 한국 추방한다.
If the communist country really stand for its ideal, then they should say, well, you must come with us and live together too, and you must come and become friends, and we should never separate. They must be absorbing like that. But here, even here, they're right on the next country, and the right neighboring country. They are chasing their own home, the people that have lived there as long as 4 centuries, 4 generations. They're chasing out, like in Africa, same way.
그렇게 얘기하는데 아프리카 가서는 끌어붙이려고 하는데 아시아는 지나간다.
And then on the other hand, they try to go to Africa, and they will try to win friends over in Africa, but they will try to expel the neighboring country, the people of the neighboring country, out to chase away.
그러니까 공산세계 같은 젊은 사람들이 이것도 틀렸구나 이거. 그런다. 그렇기 때문에 소련 같은 데 그래도 자유세계 사상에 좋아하면서 그 자유세계 경향을 따라오려고 거거든요.
So this is what's happening in that part of the communism, and whereas in Russia is also the communist country. Russia now is trying to follow the free side, the free world tendency.
자, 그래서 프리월드 왔다가 미국 와보고 영국 왔다가 아이고 이거 공산세계보다 좋다 잘왔다 그러나 낭망을 하겠나 이거를.
And when they come to take a look at America, and when they come to look at the England, then will they say, oh, this is better than the communist country, this is better than our country? Will they say that, or they say, oh, this is even worse than Russia, my country, which is communist? The English, and this is not any better than the communist country, Russia. Will they say that?
병원은 마찬가지 병원인데 공산세계의 병원은 감독이 있어가지고 자유행동을 제대하는 것이요. 이 자유세계는 병원은 깨우는데 마음대로 침수 왔다 갔다 해서 병수 왔다 갔다 이거다.
It's both of them are hospital in that they are trying to lead the people in the good way. So the hospital, but the hospital of the free world is there is no they come in and out of the room freely, whereas in a communist country they control the entrance and going out of the hospital. There is a supervisor, and they supervise very rigidly who comes into the room and who goes out to the room.
그거 차이야.
And that's the only difference there.
그 어떻게 병원이라는 걸 생각할 때 어떻게 좋은 거야? 그 마음대로 병실 왔다 갔다 하는 게 좋은 거야. 그래도 반도서에서 이러면 약을 굳이 약 먹고 뭐 산다 이게 뭐든
As long as it is a hospital, which is better hospital or a better way of running hospital? Just patients go out when they feel like it and come in when they feel like it. Is that any better? Or there is at least a supervisor and always bother people. You shouldn't go out. You should go out and control the going in and out of the hospital to the people. Which is better way of running the hospital?
아, 공산세계 하스피들이 놔두고 가야 된다고.
In fact, the hospital in a communistic way, the communistic world, if it is a hospital, it is better hospital than the free world.
이 자유세계에서 자유가 좋다, 자유가 좋다. 이놈의 자식 자유가 무슨 자유지? 병 들어가지고 자유가 이 자식아. 병 들어가지고 자유가 좀 막은 거야.
Like in America, they always say freedom. You know, I am free to do so. I am free to do this. But once a man gets sick or get ill, and then claim on freedom, then they're straight away they're going to die.
벼랑에 떨어지면 급살나게 그런 거야. 죽을 때도 얼마나 죽지만 죽을 때는 진짜도 맞아 죽을 된다고.
When one gets sick and still try to say freedom and try to act in that way, they don't even get to die in a proper way. They may die in a very tragic way.
그래야 된다고. 내가 자유세계라고 말하는 자유세계 아니야 이게. 병폐의 세계가 돼야 된다고.
So so-called free world is not a free world at all. It is a really sick world, which is so-called, which is now the commonly called as a free world.
가게사 무슨 말인지?
Do you understand?
병이 들렸다고 병 들려가지고 무슨 자유가 병 들려 자유 줘보라고 술 먹고 방송해보라고 급살나게 죽지.
When one gets sick, one get ill, and then try to enjoy the freedom like a healthy person, then the consequence is very simple and very clear that he will just not last long. They will surely die. Once they get sick, they have to abstain from freedom, and they have to cure their freedom, the sickness before they even talk about freedom.
자, 그러려면 자유세계 사람 잡자가 약을 주고 주사를 맞고 우리 때도 이 자식아 타간자가 주사를 줄 수 있는 놈을 봐야 된다 이게.
So when you are absolutely sure that a person is sick and if he will die if nothing is done to him, then it is better to get hold of him. And even he will say, oh, you violate my freedom. But still it is better to get hold of him and give injection or to give the drug, the medicine. If he absolutely refuses to be treated, then you have to contain in one room and we'll just make him take the medicine. That's better and that's love. Do you understand? They will say free, so you say, oh, okay, oh, all right, you're free, and you don't bother him, you know he will surely die. If he's sick.
그래서 통일교는 그런 노름하는 그 세계적인 운동하는 그런 무슨 병원 같은 노름하는 그런 단체가 있어요. 그게 그게 통일교라 생각한다.
And then there should be one agency, group which will act as a hospital, which will go around and educate people and they make them to abstain from things and make them to take some remedy. And this is Unification Church as far as Father is concerned. Father feels that way.
약이라는 것이 단약이 좋은 거야, 쓴약이 좋은 거야?
We talk about medicine. Usually, is good medicine bitter or sweet?
그거 스윗하지, 스윗. more than light. 그 스윗하지 왜 비타 먹는 거야, 비타.
Well, then even how good it will be if a medicine is sweet rather than bitter? Why do we take a bitter medicine?
그게 원칙이야, 그게 원칙이야.
Well, more likely than not, the medicines are bitter.
그 통일교는 단교야, 쓴교야.
Well, on the same token, is Unification Church a sweet church or a bitter church?
내 하나 때는 하나를 하게. 누가 반대로 가라. 병난 사람 반대로 가자. 그거 죽는 거야. 그대로 가자. 죽는 거야.
Well, does anybody in Unification Church allowed to do whatever he wants? In fact, he's denied every single thing, and whatever he wants to do it, and he shouldn't do it actually. And that means, so the last thing, there's nothing we can do whatever we want in our church. If a sick person is left to do what he wants to do, actually, it just doesn't help to remedy him. And in fact, he will die because of illness.
그래 그 어려운데도 반대로 쓰약을 먹으면서 저하고 더 저하고 더 건너 이러는 거 사랑하는 게.
But the sick man, realizing he is really sick, and realizing the medicine is very bitter, but bitter is so much the better because it's good for your health. And after taking these bitter things for a long time, you know you'll be cured. Because of that, you will just enjoy eating bitter medicine. Then you will live.
그 말이야. 쓴약 중에는 말이야. 그 쓴 것 아니라고. 쓴맛 난 후에 쓴약이 오라. 진짜 나쁘라고. 쓴맛 진짜 보면 그 후에는 단맛이 들어가네. 그거라.
The one thing you must know is bitter medicine is not bad at all. You know, it's bad in the beginning, but try very hard. They're very attentive, and after the bitter taste, there's always, if you really be careful to look for it, there is a really unexplicable, the very strange sweet taste in there.
자, 그런 순한 맛이었으면 향기로운 맛이 반드시 있다고.
If there is no sweet taste in the bitter medicine, at least, absolutely, there is the sweet flavor there, sweet smell there.
그래서 너 고열이 제일 싫어하는 고열 알지? 고열이.
Perhaps the bitterest substance in the entire world is the gallbladder of a bear. That's a bitterest thing in the world. It's the most bitter.
그 고열을 먹어봐라. 뭐 쓰지만은 그 아니야 단맛이 나다.
And if you have opportunity to take that, you take that. It's so bitter. Actually, that taste the last for a few minutes, even hours. But after that, if you breathe in and out, and you really feel that unexplainable, the sweet taste there.
그래서 그와 마찬가지로 쓴맛보다도 그 단맛과 향기로운 맛을 알려면 순간 통째로 아주 생길 수 있다고요.
So the point here is, if you have discovered that taste, then your outlook towards the gallbladder of a bear is completely changing. You know that the sweet taste, the mysterious sweet taste there. So the next time you see the gallbladder, everybody shy away from it, but you will jump at that. You will try to eat much more than other people because you are looking for that sweet taste. We must discover that sweet taste in all bitter things.
완전한 사람은 쓴맛 가운데 숨어있는 단맛과 향기를 맛볼 줄 아는 사람이 완전한 맛을 아는 사람이에요.
The man of perfect taste, not the man of ordinary taste, they don't know anyway. But the one who say, oh, he is the one who knows the taste really, then that kind of man, the man who always discovers, who know how to discover, who can distinguish the sweet taste among the bitterish things. He is the man.
모든 것은 올라갔다 내려갔다는 주고받는 일이야. 달면 쓰고 쓰면 달고 이렇게 돼 있다고.
And this is nothing extraordinary either, because everything is in a go up and down the cycle.
나 그 생각한다. 지금 20세기 문명은 무슨 문명이냐 이게 사탕 문명이다, 달콤한 문명이다 이게.
Then Father views it this way. What's a 20th century civilization? 20th century civilization is a sweet civilization. It's a sugar civilization.
달콤하고 많이 달콤하다. 얼굴도 보자. 저 너야 뭐 이게 그저 가장적인 달콤, 인공적인 이 스윗한 이게 문명이라고.
And that's an artificial sweetness too. And it talks sweetly, and it gives you the glorious image. It promises you some promise, even though it is false. Actually, they try to make it sweet so much.
그래 왜?
Well, does it look the same to you?
너들 요즘에 나가서 웃을 때도 마음에 없는 웃음 많이 하고 생각하잖아. 마음에 없는 웃음, 마음에 없는 행동, 마음에 없는 말, 마음에 없는 표정, 마음에 없는 생각 많이 하지.
Like you, even you go out to the witnessing, you smile, but sometimes you smile, although deep inside you don't want to smile. You smile. So, and you say something which you don't want to say really, but then you say it anyway. Something good, don't you, these days?
세상은 더하지, 너들은 더하지.
And you know that in the world, they are even worse. They really talk about the things which they don't mean at all.
더구나 이 외교 세계에서는 말이야. 외상들이 뭐 해가지고 전부 다 말 가져가지고 달콤하게 해가지고 전부 다 세게 먹는 세게 잘하는 것이 외교 분야의 그것이 아주 국가를 대표하고 아주 뭐 훌륭한 사람이야.
Even in the diplomatic world of 20th century, the diplomacy, the diplomats meet each other, like a prime minister of each country meet each other and speak about something. Then they speak very nicely, you see, as though everything that he's thinking about is for the sake of other country. They talk like that. But deep inside, everybody knows that they are trying to bring their own interest.
자, 그러니 이런 세계에 이게 반대한 쓴 문명권이 이것을 소화시켜야 돼. 어디에 단게 쓴 것을 소화하냐, 쓴 게 단 것을 소화하냐. 어떤 거야?
Among the sweetness everywhere, then here is another civilization which is bitter. Bitter civilization will come and try to digest the sweet civilization. Well, that's necessary. Now, do you think the sweet thing can digest the bitter thing, or bitter thing can digest the sweet thing? Which side, the sweet over bitter or the bitter over sweet? Now you know that.
그래서 이제 이 민주 세계, 자유 세계에 남아야지 이 세계를 구할 수 있는 것이 더 단 문명에 들어가서 더 쓴 문명에 들어가서.
So actually the civilization now is such a peril. Everybody knows that. Then would that have to be anything sweeter than them, or is it something very bitter, which will have a better chance of digesting them?
자, 너들 단물이 좋아, 짠물이 좋아.
Which would you like, the sweet water or the salty water?
물도 두 가지 종류가 있다고.
If you really become very particular in taste in the water, there are two kinds of water: slightly the sweet tasting water and the slightly salt tasting water.
그 빛도 같고 모양도 같지만 종류가 둘이 있는데 어느 물이 더 희망적이야? 단물이 희망적이야? 짠 물이 희망적이야.
The color is the same, they look the same, but then there's some water, the sweet water, and some water is the salty water. Which is more hopeful, the sweet water or the salty water?
응? 어느 거 더 희망적이야?
Which is more hopeful, the sweet or the salty water?
그래서 단물이 많아, 짠물이 많아.
So, is there more salt water or the more sweet water in the world?
그래. 그 솔트워터 가운데서 단물이 있어 없어?
Then even in the salty water, do you find the sweet taste in them?
짠물 가운데는 단물이 들어가 있던 거 알아?
Or put it this way, even the salt water has a sweet water running into it all the time.
그렇기 때문에 짠물 가운데서 진짜 맛을 알면 단물 맛을 안다 그 말이라고.
So if you really be able to distinguish the taste in the sweet in salt water, the taste of the sweet water, then you really can appreciate that more than the sweet water itself.
자, 여러분들은 단 것에서부터 쓴 거 나왔겠나? 쓴 것에서부터 단 것이 나왔겠나?
What do you think is the origin then? Did the sweet thing come out of a bitter thing, or the bitter thing come out of sweet thing? Which was original? Do you think, in your opinion, which came first?
그렇다고.
Some strange reason everybody agrees that if there was anything, the sweet thing was earlier than the bitter thing was earlier than the sweet thing.
그렇다고 세상 리치가 그렇다고 말해.
And that's the way it is, and that's true in every way.
자, 밤에서 빛이 나왔겠나? 빛에서 밤이 나왔겠나?
Where do you think the light come out of from? Do you think the light came out from darkness, or the darkness resulted from the lightness?
그렇다고.
That's the way it is, like you rightfully said.
자, 그러니까 쓴 것을 좋아하면은 단 것은 얼마든지 나온다. 쓴 것을 얼마든지 갖다 오는 사람은 단 것은 얼마든지 창조해준다. 이런 말로.
So the same token, you can safely say that those who really appreciate the bitter things, he can produce any amount of sweetness, but not the other way around. And if you like the darkness, if you don't mind the darkness, then he will like the light. Even if the light becomes unbearably light, then he can tolerate.
자, 사랑은 좋은 거, 사랑은 달콤한 거, 사랑은 쓴 거 어떤 거야?
The love is sweet or love is bitter? Which one is it?
그건 서양 사람들이 말하는 그 사랑이고,
Well,
서양 사람은 사랑을 쓴 것이다.
it's a strange thing. If you ask the Western people, is love sweet or bitter? They will say sweet. What about you ask the same question to Oriental? Is love sweet or bitter? They will say bitter.
그렇다고.
That's true. And the Western people think they are the only ones in the world and say, well, it's sweet.
저 아시아 사람은 진짜 달콤한 맛을 알 수 있지만은 단 것을 알아서는 이 쓴맛은 소화못입니다.
The Asians who know the bit of the taste of bitterness can really feel the taste of sweetness as well. But if you don't know the taste of bitterness, then you don't really appreciate the the taste of sweetness.
나 일생 동안 난 일하고 너 일생 동안 일하고 싶은 사람이 많으냐? 나 일생 동안 일하자고 놀고 살고 싶은 사람만 어떤 거야?
There are the people and the more people, which is which more people. The more people like to live by working hard all throughout their life, or more people like to not so hard in their life and pass their life.
어떤 거야? 일하는 걸 일하지 않고 살 수 있는 걸 좋아해? 일하고 살 수 있는 걸 좋아해?
Do more people like to be able to live without working very hard, or the more people like to live without having to work having to work very hard?
Without work. Everybody wants without work. All time you play. Yeah.
Everyone like to live this world without working so
너
hard.
그러면 개미 너는 그라스하고 말이야 앤트라는 그런 우화통화 너 알지? 너 어둠을 전전해. 그 춤이나 추고 말이야 이런 이슬 맞아가지고 아주 아침 햇빛 따고 노래하고 말이야 이거 사는 거고 말이야 이건 아침이고 저녁이고 더울 때가 됐어. 그래도 새까맣게 타버렸다고 새까맣게 타버리고 허리가 깜짝해가지고 이렇게 하는 개미하고 볼 때 너는 개미가 되고 싶어? 그라스하퍼가 되고 싶어?
And we see this the grasshopper and ants situation everywhere. And you know the ants, if you look at the ants and they work so hard, there's no time they stand still, play around. You know, they are always on the move.
Too much so that become black color, you know?
It becomes so black, and the waist is waist is such a thin because they haven't eaten anything. And
입만 컸다고 입만.
their old mouth, the mouth is so big, and they always open and close. And they live that way, and they work so hard under the sunshine, so they're pitch dark. And you know the grasshopper, you know how the grasshopper live. They sing and they take everything easy. And
자, 그러면 교육할 때는 그라스하퍼들하고 해, 앤트들하고 앤트 어디로 가?
like you become a Sunday school teacher and teach all the children, would you say, "Oh, live like a grasshopper"? Would you say that to them? Or to say, "Live like ants"? Would you say?
왜 그럴까?
Why would you say your children to live like ants and never live like a grasshopper? Or why don't you say that to you?
자, 어떤 사람 말이 그래. 이제 이래. 젊은 청춘 때는 그라스하퍼 시대고, 이거 나만 와서는 그때 앤트 노릇하면 살면 되지. 이것이 올바른 생각이야. 젊은 시대에 있어서의 개미가 되고 말이야. 나만 와가지고 그라스하퍼 되는 것이 좋다. 어떤 거?
Which is normal way of thinking. Well, while we are young, we must enjoy the youth, so we will play grasshopper. But when we get old, then we will we'll have to prepare ourselves, so we will like ants. Would that be more normal? I would say, while we are young, where we have health, then we will we'll have to live like ants. But then when we get old, and then we will take it easy with like a grasshopper, which is more normal.
뭐 정말이야?
Do you really mean that?
Yes. 늙어가지고 노래하고 놀 근력 있어?
Well, how can you play and how can you sing once you get old? Will you have enough power to play and enough power to sing once you get old?
노래 못하고 그렇게 바라보고 웃기만 해도 그 노래하는 거 나빠.
Actually, after working hard, then it is better never be able to sing. But then, even if you smile at them, it's far better than singing itself.
자, 우리 통일교는 통일교는 모든 민치들 보면 말이야. 어떤 종교단체, 어떤 의인의 역사를 보더라도 그저 핍박받고 어제 멀리고 쫓기고 이게 출발하는 것은 세계적인 이름을 냈지만은 아이고 국가적으로 환영받고 이런 것은 전부 다 가져 나왔습니다.
Even not to mention about the Unification Church, but including it, when the first it appears and then first being persecuted and being not so welcome in the very first appearance, but they last longer and later they are welcome. Then the first time they come out, everybody jumps at them. Oh, this is what I like. It never lasted any long. This is the way it was in any time.
그래 안 그래?
Isn't that true?
자, 너들 저 여자는 뭐 락 뮤직이니 뭐지? 그거 얼마나 갈 것 같아?
You know, the rock music, once it came out, the people just jumped at it.
야다라고 며칠간에 말이야.
Everybody liked it and got excited and, oh, this is it. You know, oh, we like it. How long do you think it will last?
여기 뭐 비틀적들 거 얼마나 가?
What about Beatles? The Beatles, you know, the Beatles, really the people got crazy at that. How long did the people last to like Beatles?
여자 뭐 히피가 이거 다 지나가고 그냥 스트리키는 거 알았어? 보고 찍어 막. 그거 얼마나 가?
Hippies and hippies, they all they passed their days and even the streaking came out. You know, the streaking is taking all the clothes and run. And even those, it's a past of fashion.
자,
Nobody does that now.
그런 무리한 사람은 말이야. 30년 전부터 이렇게 해서 욕을 먹고 뭐 없어지고 전부 다 깨끗고 도망다니면서 이러면서도 지금까지 망하려고 아직까지 그 바람을 불리고 있다고.
But Reverend Moon, on the other hand, has been working in such a bitter way, such a painful way, such an all impossible way for 30 years. But he still is going strong and doing the same. Reverend Moon is now working even worse, working even harder, and making more stir. Will he then eventually just fade away and so the Unification Church, or it will grow and grow until it is filled to the earth? Which one will it do?
너들 뭐돈 벌어가지고 돈 벌어가지고 말이야. 뭐너 독수리를 놔둔 거지. 어디 돈은 벌긴 버는데 어디 가니 다 없어진다고야.
We make so much money in Unification Church. Well, compared to, we think it is very much money. Anyway, much money in effect, we make it. And then all throw this away to vultures, you know, the eagles and then the hawks, and we all give this the prey, and nothing is remaining.
그 봐라, 선생님 봐라. 이거 뭐 돈 있으면 이거 미국에 다 뿌려놓고 요즘 와서 영국 와서 또 돈 쓰고 말이야. 내 가는 것 때문에 돈 쓰려고 생각한다.
We made the money, but no money is in our pocket, no money is in our bank. Like Father gave so much money, spent so much money in America, and then Father came to England and then keep spending on the money here in this country.
되레스는 요 찬스를 내가지고 선생님 할 때 떼서 영국
The Dennis is really looking at with a watchful eye and say, I will take this opportunity to make the English church rich. Yeah, he's doing that. Then Father says, all right. We wouldn't do any harm, so Father keeps on spending money in England.
그렇다고 매일 그 노래입니다. 고생들하고 남는 한 톱까지 마찬가지야. 10년 전이나 뭐 20년 전 마찬가지야.
So Father keeps on working the same way as many years ago, but nothing is remaining. Still the same hard work. This is the way we might see ourselves.
한 가지는 건강해지고 기분이 좋아요.
But the one thing is, we become healthier. We look and we really have changed and we become healthier and we feel a lot better than before. At least the conscience become very light and is even more hope, and we notice that difference. Do you understand?
이 통일교주의가 무슨 이 연병이니 무슨 걸릴라니 그런 유행병 같이 지내가는 그런 유행병 같은 거야. 이것이 무엇이니?
Is a movement of unification church. Unification movement, is it some kind of the disease, some kind of the passing disease, like a cholera, like the things like that? No. Or what?
지내갈 길 같아. 가서 자리 잡아가지고 원전을 타고 앉아가지고 소화할 길 같아.
Is this the movement where it is, whenever it occupies a position, it will stay there and then grow out of there, or would it just pass away? It is.
어때? 굴어. 대사에 굴어. 그렇지 말고. 너는 말 잘했다기야, 말 잘했다기야. 굴어.
Yes, like you said, it will take position and it will grow everywhere it goes.
왜 굴어한 거야, 굴어?
Then why?
자, 나무가 자라려면 아이고 신선한 공기만 먹기 위해서 나무 뿌리가 아이고 나 신선한 공기 좋아 하고 그 나무 뿌리가 신선한 공기만 줘야 하면 되겠나? 그 시궁창을 덜 넣은 것을 헛싸고 찾아가야 되겠나?
If the tree, in order for a tree to grow, then they say all we need is air, and they say just they inhale the good air. Or can he grow like that, a big one? Or he will have to look into that, even the dirty water, the sewage water, to take a nutrition out of, which one should a great big tree should do before it can grow to be a big tree.
나무 뿌리는 똥내 같은 거, 비료 같은 거 냄새 나는 게 다 귀하지.
And the roots of a tree are always looking for
반대라고.
the different from the leaves. The leaves are always intaking the fresh things, but the roots are all looking into these things and then take nutrition out of there.
그래 안 그래?
Isn't that true?
뿌리에다가 야야 너 뿌리야. 너도 공기 좋아하니 공기 들을 때 뭐 너가 해서 그 죽나 안 죽나?
And the roots, like the fresh, they say we took pity in you, so roots, and we just dig out the root and say here's a fresh air. You take some fresh air. That tree will die.
마찬가지야. 통일교 하나에 들어가면 말이야 이게 아주 쓰거든. 그냥 저 첩보는 저 일반 사람들 통일교면 참 좋지만은 들어가면 점점 쓰다.
And the Unification Church is like a root of a great big tree of the world. There's no secret about that. So this is why when the outside people come into Unification Church, then they are fascinated, they like it. But then when they stay 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, then they begin to find this is a bitter one. So they go in and in.
자기가 막 탄맛 무슨 뭐시 쩔쩔하고 어색까지 맛을 다 뭐 털털하고 뭐 식은 털털하고 배란된 것을 다 흡수다. 그걸 다 흡수해야 그 나무가 건전하게 자라는 거 아니에요.
So, but after coming into the Unification Church, they experience something other than sweet. So far, everything they knew was sweet. But then after that, they taste the bitter things, and they taste the sour things, they taste the green things and tart things, and all different kind of taste. But for our health, all of these different nutrition are necessary. So Unification Church members go through all different kind of taste, and therefore they become healthy. So by statistics, really, there are only a few number of people who really become to like the Unification Church. Isn't that true?
Yes. 적당히 왔다가 문제를 왔다 갔다 무슨 나 털견 해가지고 백개는 좋거든. 나타나는 건 좋거든. 결과는 좋거든. 사람들 봐야 좋구만 어디가 친절하고 말이야. 어디가 봉사적이고 좋거든. 그렇지만 그 하나들에게 낯설어.
So everyone want to come to Unification Church because it is good, and because they are kind, because they're full of love. Really, they like it so much, but then if they can help it, they want to stay away from it because they don't want to come into it, because into it becomes so bitter sometimes. What about the Father himself, Father Reverend Moon? Would he like it, or would he not like it?
자, 레버런 문 여기 미용구가 있다는 사람들이 좀 외부 사람들이 레버런 문 만난 사람 있어? 안 만난다, 안 만난다고. 너도 선생님이 있는지 어디 모른다. 있는 거 거기다 없고 없는 거 거기다.
Now the English people heard that Reverend Moon is here in this country, but nobody met him. In fact, nobody, not even you. You feel that know that Father is somewhere here, but you don't know where he is. or if he's out at that time, or if it's in that time. Father just does not see anybody.
자, 베개는 뿌리가 어떻게 알 수 있어?
From outside, how does he know what kind of a root, what the root is like, unless he become one?
덜겨 먹으면 적힌 것처럼 그 하나는 그 어딘지 모르겠다. 누구든 다 몰라.
So the people say the unification church is good, but what's inside, nobody knows, they will say.
왜? 레버런드 문이 나타나다니까 모르지.
Well, because Reverend Moon never appears to anybody, and never talks to anybody. How do they know? If they knew, they were wrong.
신문 기자가 그렇게 만났다가 안 만나주고 말이야. 만나서 내가 필요한 사람 만났지 말이야. 자기가 필요한 사람 만났지 말이야.
But now the father will see the newspaper man if father feels the necessity of it. If father feels the need of it, father will go ahead and see the newspaper. But not the other way around. Not the newspaper man would like to see father because they need him and then see him.
만나면 끌어 들어올 수 있게끔 될 수 있는 사람 만나지 내가 끌려 나갈 사람 안 만난다.
Father simply won't meet anybody until he proves to be the one who can really understand the Unification Church and help Unification Church. Then Father will meet him. But not the kind of a newspaper man who will make their own story and suit themselves and just make their own living. The Father just don't want to see those kind of newspaper men.
그래서 하나님이 뿌리야.
Is